No, but you get the gist of it, right? You think that when you're in your protected confine, I think road rage is a good example. You're in a metal cage. No one can see you or hear you. Your sound, your voice, your language is all to yourself. You forget that angels are recording you. It's true though, isn't it? Yeah, and you think that what? No one's here. If like my daughter's there or my wife's there or family members there, you're more likely to control yourself. But when you're on your own, you're less likely, and that shouldn't be the case because your private life, this is a common principle we should all know. Your private life and your public life should have no difference. It should be exactly the same. Yeah, and that's what sincerity is. Sincerity isn't that you do more good deeds in public. Yeah, in fact, sincerity is when you do more good deeds in private. Okay, and that's obviously easier said than done. It's very difficult because when people are around, you restrain yourself more. You're better behaved. Especially now that we're around brothers. We're more likely to think good and be good, and less likely to think bad and be bad. Right? And chances are, when you're around people who are a bit more like less practicing, they can bring out characteristics in you that otherwise you might not like about yourself. And that happens to all of us. And that's why it's so important to have good friends around you constantly. So we said shukr, we said sabr, and the third thing he said was patience, therefore, rests on these three supports. Yeah? And if the servant maintains them as he should, affliction will become a benefit for him. Trials will change into a bounty, into a treasure for him. And what he disliked will then become what he loved. What he disliked will then become what he loved. And then he said, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not try the servant in order to destroy him. Rather, he tries him to put his patience and devotion, ubudiyah, to the test. For the servant owes devotion to Allah in affliction as in ease. He must have as much devotion in what he hates as in what he loves. And while most people offer devotion in what they love, it is important to also do so in things that they hate. It is by this that the servants' ranks are distinguished and their stations are determined. So let's expand upon that, what he just said now, about devotion. So you can read it more in detail going down the page. But what he said was that he gave some examples, like for example, being devoted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? You doing wudu before salah, that's a sign of devotion. Yeah? You speaking good words and thinking about Allah at the same time is a sign of devotion. Right? Speaking good words to someone who's also speaking good words to you, that's a sign of devotion. Giving charity to someone you feel sorry for and your heart, bleeds for that person is a sign of devotion. Right? But also giving charity to someone that you hate. Giving charity to someone that you actually despise. But he's a poor man, he's a homeless man, right? He hasn't got anything. He's hungry, but he's got really bad character, and you don't want to feed him. Right? So, let's not talk about crackheads, right? They're a different story. But let's delete that comment, right? But bottom line is, there might be someone you don't like, maybe a family member, who's really annoyed you. You don't get along with them, right? But when they're in need, for the sake of Allah, you help them. That is devotion as well. Devotion isn't just in what you like, it's also in what you hate. What Ibn Qayyim said. So another example he gave was that when you do wudu with cold water in the hot weather, it's nice, it's refreshing. That's an act of devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's a great deed. But when you do wudu in cold water, with cold water, in the freezing cold weather, like the Sahaba did back then, that's also an act of devotion. But Ibn Qayyim says, don't think that these two acts are the same level in reward. One of them has its challenges and it's more difficult. Yeah? But even though the outward act is the same, you're doing wudu. But the mental fortitude you need to conduct that act is probably a bit higher. Yeah? Even though you know you need to do it, but you're doing it anyway because you're doing it for the sake of Allah. Yeah? I mean, how many times, have we done wudu with cold water in cold weather? Everyone's experienced it. It's not nice. You use the minimum amount of water, don't you? Right? You use like a little bit, and you like rub between your hands, then you like rub your face, and it's cold. Right? And like, but when you're using hot water, what do? You do the opposite. When you're using cold water in hot weather, you're doing the opposite, don't you? You use loads of water. right? And you just like splash it on yourself constantly. You might have something which you like, which is useful to you, right? But your heart isn't attached to it. How do you know if it's attached to it or not? Well, if it breaks or you lose it, you don't care. You don't care. It's like, all right, khalas, I'll get another one. Or like, I don't need it. I'll get something else to replace it or whatever, right? And that's why Rasulullah, whenever he had something nice and someone asked him, Ya Rasulullah, can I have it? What did he do? Gave it straight away. He had no attachment to it. All right, you want it, that's fine. Might be the most expensive clothing that man has ever seen in his life. So he wants it for himself. And he knows Rasulullah will give it to him. And this is an incident that happened. He knows Rasulullah will give it to him. So he went up to Rasulullah, can I have it please? And Rasulullah just took it up and gave it to him. It was a gift from another person, right? But Rasulullah gave it to this man. And then the other Sahaba, I think one of the senior Sahaba asked him, what's wrong with you? You know he's not going to refuse. Look at his character. They all know that of him. You know he's not going to refuse, and you still went up to him and took it off. What's wrong with you? And he said, I haven't got anything of Rasulullah that belongs to me. I knew he'd give it to me, and now this is precious to me because it reminds me of him. He didn't want it because of that thing. At least we think the best of the Sahaba, right? We didn't. Yes, exactly.
The intention was to describe that.
Subhanallah. Yes. Jazakallah khair. Subhanallah. And everything that the Sahaba did, it was devotion. They were devoted to Rasulullah. Right. So, and with complete devotion. So when you pray salah, when you fast, this is all devotion. The more devoted you are, the more tawakkul you will have. It's a very, very important point. You talk about tawakkul, isn't it, all the time? I have tawakkul in Allah, I have tawakkul in Allah. Allah will sort it out for you, I have tawakkul in Allah. Real tawakkul is Allah blesses a person with tawakkul according to how devoted they are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, this obviously includes worship. Obviously includes your salahs, your fasting, restraining your angers, like we talked about, being thankful for your blessings. Okay? Includes all of those things. And Rasulullah, was he more devoted at the beginning of his prophethood? And was he devoted more at the end of his prophethood? This is just a question to think about. I'll say again, was Rasulullah devoted more at the beginning of his prophethood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or was he devoted more towards the end of his prophethood?
Consistency.
Is he devoted throughout, without a doubt? Here's another question. Yeah, this is just thinking point. I'm not going to give an answer to this, right? Just as a point of reflection. Was he more knowledgeable at the beginning of his prophethood or at the end of his prophethood? Obviously. There was things that he did at the beginning, which 23 years later, remember, a lot of his decisions were ijtihad based. A lot of his decisions he took upon himself. And that was a lesson for us. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to make him make a decision...
The guidance.
Sorry?
He always made the decision with the guidance.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there's a difference between there's wahi that came down. Yeah, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. Yeah? He does not say and believe anything except that Allah wills for it to, except that it's wahi. It's a form of wahi. But there's layers to this. So him, for example, in Hudaybiyah, we were talking about recently, right? The Sahaba, they were disappointed at the treaty being made. They were disappointed. So at the end of it, remember when he said to them, right, everyone, we're not going to do Umrah now. Everyone shave your heads, let's go. What happened? That's it. No one responded. They sat in silence. He said it again. They sat in silence. He said it again. They sat in silence. Then later on, just a day or two later, while on their way to Medina, wahi comes down, Surah Fath, all of it revealed. That Allah has given you a manifest victory, so rejoice. As soon as that wahi came down, Rasulullah was happy. He wasn't sad anymore. He told Umar bin al-Khattab, he told all the Sahaba. And they were like, Allah said it's victory? Wow. Then they started celebrating. Think about that mentality. Rasulullah made a decision, and they've been with him for the last 20 years. They were worried that he was wrong. He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. We know that. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu, he knows. Rasulullah was not wrong. Right? But the Sahaba, all of them, they initially, most of them, they all paused a little bit before they converted. Even the early Muslims, except Abu Bakr, except him, he's special. All of them paused a little bit. But what's also important to know is that here in this case, they made a distinction between the fact that this could be Rasulullah ijtihad, and they even discussed it with him, and they even asked him, Ya Rasulullah, are we not upon the truth? Are we not Muslims? Umar al-Khattab said, are we not upon the truth? He said, yes. Then why are we making this treaty? Why are we humiliating ourselves? Yeah. Then Rasulullah said, this is qadrullah. We've made the decision and we have to be firm on it. But this is even Rasulullah, he was sad until Wahi came down to confirm his decision. Yeah. And so he had. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say it's important to note that the Sahaba is never say it for himself.
No.
For the deen.
Yes. No, definitely. Jazakallah khair for mentioning that. Yeah, so so that.
Their concern was the deen.
That's right. That's right. It wasn't at all. So with the more, and I found this point very beneficial. With complete devotion comes complete tawakkul. Right. So if you're not getting the tawakkul that you want, and you're not seeing that Allah's feeding, you leave in your house and He's feeding you filling your belly up, and you come back at night, right, like the birds. Then question your devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't question Allah if He's abandoning you or not. Na'udhu billahi min dhalik. Allah protects us from thinking like that.